Hi, Zoru. My name is Prachi. I'm the Mumbai chapter editor for Citizen Matters. And I welcome you to this conversation on the public interest litigation that you are pursuing for water conservation in Mumbai. Just to quickly introduce Zoru for this conversation, Zoru Bhathena is a very well-known environmental activist in Mumbai. He has been participating in several movements, whether it is Aarey forest conservation or general water management in Mumbai. He is extremely active on social media, and his posts are followed by anyone and everyone, including the authorities, which is very important. So thank you very much for your time, Zoru.
Before you start with the questions, I'd like to say that I follow a lot of what Citizen Matters does, and they really put out very useful information for citizens. But let's be honest, I don't think citizens are so interested in useful information or how to make the city better. This is the ill that plagues our cities.
Yeah,
Lack
and
of
and the
interest.
realm of civic activism, right? I mean, yes. Yeah, but we keep trying, and I think we should keep at it. Yes. Yeah. So, the very first question, Zoru, why did you file a PIL on water conservation? What drove you to it, and what is this PIL all about?
Uh, Mumbai is a unique city. We have abundance of rainfall. We have a beautiful water system which gives good fresh water to everybody's taps throughout the city. Um, there's an entire network which pipes water to everybody's house. But the water that falls in the city of Mumbai is all drained out to sea.
Right.
Every year, one of the biggest problems in Mumbai is that when it rains heavily, there are floods.
Correct.
To tackle this, the BMC, that's the Bombay Municipal Corporation, keeps building more and more drains.
True.
And what I have at least noticed over the last many years of noticing odd things.
Many years. Yes.
Yeah, I was not always into this acquisition, but I've noticed issues. And I've noticed that whatever they are doing, the flooding is getting worse. Previously, Mumbai was very famous. I think 2005, there was 1000 mm of rain which fell in a day, and the entire city flooded.
Yeah.
That was a chaotic situation, and I don't think any government can solve such issues.
Correct. True. But that was extraordinary. Yes.
Extraordinary. That's a act of God. I mean, nobody can solve such an issue. Fair enough. But since then, till today, when there is 100 mm of rain in Mumbai, Mumbai floods.
True.
And it has, in front of my eyes, it has deteriorated from when 500 mm rains, it floods. Acceptable because it's a lot of rain. 300, 200, 100. Nowadays, there's a drizzle also, it floods. So in my view, whatever they are doing to solve flooding is actually causing the flooding. It is right. They are the basic concept of what they are doing is wrong. They are trying to take an entire city's rainfall. Every drop of rain that falls in the city should go out and be thrown out to sea. You cannot drain or you cannot channelize nature of an entire city. And what happens to that water when it goes out to sea? Good rainwater is put into the sea and is destroyed because it gets mixed with sea water and is of no use to anybody. And at the same time, the government says that Mumbai is now bursting at its seams, so we need more water supply. Our traditional lakes which supply water to Mumbai are insufficient. So let's build desalination plants. So they're taking good rainwater
Putting it in the sea.
throwing it in the sea,
Then
and then taking the sea water and making it into drinking water. This is absolute nonsense thought process. And our of course our government works only where there are mega crores to be spent. So if they
the
find
pumping stations and yeah,
exactly, yes, so they are only interested in doing big mega projects. They refuse to do the simple things that should be done.
right.
Let's understand what a drain does.
Hmm.
Let's assume we have a building compound, a society compound. Certain amount of the rainwater should be allowed to go into the ground. This is a fundamental. When it rains, water must enter the ground. If you don't allow the rainwater to enter the ground, you have to find some other way for it to exit. And a drain can be built for that. You can channel your, like in a building compound, you may have a paved compound, and you have drains on the side, and you channel it and put it into the main drain. This is how all buildings are made. They should have some sort of soaking area, but they don't have. Let's put it that way. In Mumbai, we don't have it. But there is no reason why the drain itself can't have a natural soak pit. Why should a drain be cement?
Right.
The drain can be mud at the bottom. Let it soak in naturally. I'm just giving very
Very basic,
simple, very
very
basic
simple,
thought
basic.
process.
Right.
And what water doesn't soak into the ground, let it be drained out.
Hmm.
What is a stormwater drain? Mumbai has a system called a stormwater drain,
Hmm.
which many cities may not have. A stormwater drain is the excess water during a storm which can't go through the natural process, needs to be drained out.
Right.
No city can be designed for draining every drop of water.
Right.
That is
Right.
the flaw. So what they are doing originally, as I said, the entire Mumbai got up to this issue when there was 1000 mm drain, and they keep making drains to drain out more and more water, and it's stopping more and more water going in naturally into the ground.
In fact, after 2005, there was a lot of attention on all this, right? I mean, we had departments, meetings, sessions continuously to formulate policies, and this whole Mithi River and all of that happened after that. So it should have definitely improved in the past 20 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But see, people in authority, let's be honest, they don't want things to improve. If 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 they solve issues, they are out of business. So look at it from roads, look at it from any issue you want. The system wants the problem to continue and continue, so it's a never ending problem.
yeah. Mhm.
Yes, they want it to continue. Nobody wants to solve it because the mega amounts of money, if you take of 20 years what they spend on drainage, would have fed a lot of people. And it's not political. Any party comes, it's not this. And the system is like that. Whoever sits in the system behaves like that. Talking about rivers, Mumbai is blessed to have 4 natural rivers. And I think nobody in Mumbai knew that we had rivers till it flooded
Until
it flooded in 2005.
I always tell people, I was covering at that time, I was working with the Hindu at that time, and when the floods happened, I have asked and reported people, and everyone said Mithi Nala. Not one person, even including me, said Mithi River until we realized it's a river. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
So actually, it's a perennial river. What
Yeah,
makes a river? There are some criteria.
correct.
And the natural water from, I think, the SGNP, Sanjay Gandhi National Park, from Aarey Forest, all these go into the Mithi and make it a river. What has happened in Mumbai? These rivers come under BMC's storm water drain department,
Right.
and they do everything in their capacity to make them into drains, because that is what the department does. So the government has given a natural river to a drain department, and they have made it into a nala. When the river can be used for so many natural purposes. Okay, dirty rivers you'll find all over India. But I don't think you will find any city in the world which has rivers and seas which doesn't have any water transport. Only Mumbai, unique. Sorry, coming back to the issue of this of thing. So over the years, actually we fought a lot of issues on this rainwater. Mumbai had a very active citizen fight against the metro depot to be built at the Aarey forest. But the entire fight has been projected as a fight to save trees. But this is not the base of the fight. The depot plot was the floodplain of the Mithi River. And it was filled up by 30 feet to build this depot. And that has been also one of our major fights. But unfortunately, in perception, the whole thing, the issue has gone into trees. But trees are something which, yes, you can move, you can cut, there are a lot of plus and minus about trees, but floodplains you can't move. Floodplains are no development zones throughout the country. And therefore, the authorities did their best to suppress that part. Very, very few people will know that the fight was about saving a floodplain, also about saving a forest, also about saving a floodplain. And we have documented it that when, what is a floodplain? When there is heavy rain and the river fills up, when the river overflows, it goes into a natural soak pit on the side, which is a floodplain. And that soak pit is lower than the river. That's why it floods there. It's like a pond. But a pond which fills up only when the river overflows. When there is, correct. These natural holding ponds are invaluable. And we've documented it, that before the metro depot was filled up, the Mithi River used to overflow with 500 mm rain. Now it overflows with 200 mm rain. So that's because there's no holding pond any longer. Right. And Mumbai is a city where we have very eminent establishments like IIT and VJTI who use their engineering skills, and they are making throughout the city holding ponds, cement holding ponds to hold water in flood zones. So maybe that might be a solution for some particular issue, or some site might require a cement holding pond, but to send in the entire city we must make cement holding ponds. Well, why can't you make a natural one? Why can't you allow water to soak into the ground? So this is the basic flaw in the entire thought process, how I view it. Right. Somebody else may view it that no, everything cementing is great. And what we've seen over the years, that the system thought process is flawed. So everything they implement is flawed. And last year, I noticed a playground, a mud-filled playground at the Khara suburbs of Mumbai, where they dug around it and made a stormwater drain inside the playground. A cement drain. And I'm like, excuse me, who makes drains in playgrounds? And all that water which used to, okay, maybe when it rains, the playground gets flooded, you can't play. So what? I mean, what's the issue? As a kid, we used to go into playgrounds when it rained because we used to play in the slush. Yeah. In the slush. I mean, that's what we used to do. Right. Okay, it's a natural process. Few days of the year, you won't be able to use the playground.
Yeah,
But
in
to
fact, that's quite popular in Bombay. At least it used to be. It
yes,
used to
yeah,
be very popular to play in full rain in the
yes,
mud playgrounds.
yeah.
Yes.
So what is the issue if the playground does fill up with a little bit of mud, because eventually it soaks into the ground. So to solve, instead of allowing it to work through its natural process, they are making stormwater drains in a natural playground to drain it out to sea. Means it's ridiculous. Who could have ever thought of such a thing? And how can we sit back and allow such a thing to happen? And Mumbaikas are not, who's bothered? Okay, and not so, you know what I'm saying. So the thought process is wrong.
Hmm.
And I've met a lot of people in the BMC, right from down up. They don't understand this basic concept. I ask all of them, I said, Mumbai is blessed with sea around it. We drain everything into the sea. What does Delhi do? What does Pune do? What does Bangalore do? They don't have a sea around where they can just dump water in. What happens to their rain? Everything eventually goes through some natural system. Every city would have a river. All the water goes into, some it has to go into the ground finally. Yes, rivers overflow, rivers also flood. Delhi has a situation where some flooding happened some 100 kilometers away, Delhi flooded. So nature is interconnected, but eventually nobody throws that natural water out into sea.
True.
So why is it happening in Mumbai? Yes, rivers also, when they eventually go to sea only, but along the way they
They
do
do
some
a
work.
lot of other things
They
when they're.
do a lot of work along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't, you should not be bypassing that natural system.
Yes.
And the 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 base is that after doing all these things for 20 years, have you really improved the drainage system, or has it become worse? And it
Hmm.
has become worse. Every year they have a list of flood prone spots.
Hotspots.
Every
Yeah.
year that flood spot increases. Every year the flooding happens with less amount of rain. So you're doing something wrong. You
Correct.
you need to have a rethink. The issue we have raised is not, we're not fighting with BMC. We're not finding fault with them. We're not
Yeah. It's
we
not
ask.
a versus sort of a thing. Yeah.
Yes, it's not we're not fighting with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are hopeful that, listen, this is an issue, and if you see the PL, it's very simple. It's a
Hmm.
base issue. Why should you drain out good water out to sea? I mean, this concept is wrong.
Hmm.
Make okay. Every The BMC wants every building in Mumbai to have rainwater harvesting wells. What is a rainwater harvesting well? The whatever water falls on my terrace
Hmm.
should go into the ground. They themselves want the entire city to do it, but they don't do it themselves. And of course, they make it a condition only on paper. Actually, maybe 90% may not follow it also. But why don't you follow it?
Hmm.
So it's a simple natural system. You agree it's good. So why don't you do it?
True.
When there is heavy rain falling on a road, why don't you have a rainwater harvesting well there? Where is this thing that only you must make rainwater harvesting in buildings and not on roads? There is no such. There's no.
Right.
You have made this into a thing,
Hmm.
and we've even checked. There are, I think, there are a lot of uh, roads specifications or uh, recommendations how roads should be made from central government, state government. So many things. I think Bangalore has it that every roadside drain, must have soak pits.
Hmm.
So whatever water should be allowed to soak there, whatever can't soak should be drained out.
Right.
I mean, it's not some rocket science to do all these things. And with this background is why I have put this forward. And when the court heard, it's been heard come up only one time, the court said, yes, I mean, if they thought it was bogus, they would have thrown it out. But they
Right.
said, yes, so we want to hear what BMC has to say. But BMC
Right.
is like, we don't know what to say, so they are sitting quiet.
Right.
because it's
So, when you filed this PIL and when you felt that, we could do a lot more with the existing, with the rainwater that we get, right? Um, in your, before you actually decided to go through the court route, uh, I know have you engaged with BMC? What has been, I mean, informally, if you can, do they kind of warm up to this idea? What is their, um,
um,
I mean, I'm asking,
we had
why?
yeah,
Because I want to
every
kind of
ev-
see whether
every
they will appreciate it. Yeah.
everybody in BMC have discussed it with us. Oh, great idea. Why
Uh,
don't we do rainwater harvesting?
right,
But they all appreciate the idea. Oh, but we can't do it here because this is the problem. We can't do it there because that's the problem. There is no problem. There's no will to do it.
right.
And how much does a rainwater harvesting system cost? In lakhs.
Mm,
How much does a roadside drain cost? In crores.
mm,
So they have no incentive to do simple things to solve problems simply.
mm,
It is beneath their dignity to do small work. Let's put it that way. This is the problem with the system.
mm. What are you really expecting? I mean, right now the BMC is yet to respond, right? I mean, uh, what are the possibilities in this litigation journey? Like, what could happen?
See, the law is very clear. See, when
Mm.
you go to court, we have to go as per law. We can't say that we think BMC should do something on
Yes,
this.
exactly. Yeah.
So the law says that all rainwater must be drained into the ground. That is
Mm,
the I think the BMC's own law. That is why you have rainwater harvesting wells for buildings, etc. So our issue is, if the law is applicable for private citizen, why is it not applicable for the government?
right.
Yeah, how can it be? Who is giving them an exemption
Mm,
from following the law?
mm,
And there are many authorities like the groundwater authority, states. This thing. There are a lot of uh, people who do this, authorities, but nobody's bothered.
mm,
Groundwater recharge and use is a big issue throughout the country. In Mumbai, as I said, we are blessed with a very good water system, so therefore we don't have a groundwater problem.
mm.
But we will get there.
Yeah.
Uh, and another thing, in Mumbai, anywhere you dig in the city, you dig a hole in the ground 6 feet, you will get groundwater.
Mm,
We have a very, very high water table in the city,
mm,
and it's fresh water.
mm.
So, and if you go to the sea, it's sea water. So I was also not aware of this. I was like, how come this happens? So sweet water and salt water are like oil and water. They don't mix.
Mm,
And sweet water floats and salty water remains down. So that is why when you have, like in Mumbai, you have, when it rains, the sweet water goes into the ground and it fills up the water table. And maybe a quarter of Mumbai runs on tankers who suck out this water. But since it is uh, endless supply of water, till now we have not faced a problem.
We have not, yeah.
But we will. It has to come.
Mm.
So the moment you draw too much sweet water, that's when the salty water comes in,
Starts to, yeah.
and that's
That
when it's
ingress will
yes,
happen. Yes,
and
correct.
that's when it spoils the entire water.
Entire thing. Yeah.
So two things have to be done. One is ensure that you keep replenishing rainwater,
Good.
which we are in Mumbai cementing everything and stopping that system. Second thing is, forget groundwater, extracting groundwater for tankers and use. That is being used. In Mumbai, we have, as of today, 10,000 construction sites with
Yeah.
basements. And every single basement, to dig a basement, you have to dig a hole in the ground and extract all the groundwater from there and throw it out. Then only you can make a basement.
Mm.
And not, you don't have to throw out the water only from your basement. The grounds, all the side,
Around it.
the around it flows into this pit. If you make
Yes.
the more, it's like a well.
Yeah.
So deeper well you make, it will suck in all the water from the side.
Yes.
Till you suck out the water from the entire neighborhood, your basement cannot be made. This is, and everybody in Mumbai knows it. Every builder knows it. Every BMC knows it. Everybody knows it. But we've never had a situation where every second building is being gone in for reconstruction. So
Until now, I think.
yes, so we've had an explosion of construction sites who are day in and day out sucking out our groundwater and throwing it into the gutter, and that gutter water goes back out to sea. So this is a crazy system. So we are once we spoil our groundwater, like it might have happened, I think Bangalore has happened, Chennai has happened. Once we spoil that groundwater system, we are finished.
Right.
So same way, our groundwater, we must ensure that it doesn't reach that situations of Chennai, and I think Chennai is the best example of.
Correct.
It is also a coastal city.
Coastal city, correct.
And also with good rain. So I think it's a good example.
I mean, one is the legal route, one is our normal advocacy, that we're trying to kind of get people more involved in this. How can people get more involved in this issue? Because what happens, I feel, every day our daily chores or daily rigmarole is so, I think, stressful for Mumbaikars that I don't think anyone has the mental bandwidth while you're stuck on Western Express Highway or getting into metro at Ghatkopar. I don't think you're really able to think about the larger issues that eventually will make our life better, but currently we can't kind of give our energy or time to it. How can we what can we do to get more people involved or aware, or are you doing anything about it in which um, somehow this becomes more known, like what can be done, what should be done, because I'm sure when you talk about it, it sounds completely fine, right? I mean, it's perfectly logical, but then how do we get more? I think people's power is probably also required in this. So how can people?
I think base knowledge of everybody that rain must go into the ground. That base knowledge is there with everybody.
Right.
But nobody wants even a puddle in the city. So if their toes also get wet, they would know the drainage is not proper. So therefore, the government has to do something to ensure that that also doesn't happen. So we as Mumbaikars want want a perfectly natural system, but we don't want to be inconvenienced with it. In fact, I must appreciate our Chief Minister, Mr. Shinde, last year or the year before, made a statement which is actually very true. He said, it's rained in Mumbai. It's a good thing. Why are you all complaining? Bear with it, yeah. One day it rains. What's the big issue? And he got budge out for it. But there is truth in that. He may do 100 things which I don't agree with, but this is one thing I do agree with. That yes, when it rains, there is going to be inconvenience.
Yeah.
And if you want a rainbow, you must bear with the rain. So this is it. If you want a base natural system, you have to accept that rain is going to have some problems. Yes, you should not have day-to-day daily problems. You should not have extra this thing, but you can't eliminate rain-related issues because it's inconvenient for you. Because if you eliminate it, you are causing some other problem. One of the reasons that Mumbai, despite all the massacre of tree cutting all over the city, Mumbai is a city with trees everywhere. Because there is very high groundwater. So the tree, wherever it grows in the center of the road, also it gets water.
And survives.
And survives. You see, anywhere it'll just, trees will grow. Where they plant, they will not grow. But And I always told them that, I said that if that place is not having a natural tree, it's not growing there for some reason.
There is a
Don't
reason
plant trees.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't waste your time planting there. So, and Mumbai is a city where the roadside trees are 5 and 6 floors high of the
Yeah.
building.
Yes.
You will
Yes.
not find this anywhere in the world.
Very healthy.
Over healthy,
Oh.
because they are getting water
Mm.
throughout the year because of the good groundwater.
Mm.
And of course, that has another problem, that when there is heavy rain and heavy winds, those tall trees topple because they are not, the footpath is not designed for having such a tall tree. The
Mm.
space, the base is not changing.
Yeah.
But you will find nowhere in the world you will find roadside trees beyond even 3 floors. Once you spoil the groundwater, the city will be warmer, which it already is.
Yeah.
Your tree cover,
Yeah.
which is living on this, your the groundwater is what keeps the city healthy.
Only. Yeah. Mm.
It's like a river.
Yeah.
The river, if the river is healthy, the
The banks are
banks
healthy.
are healthy.
Yes.
If your river is a nala, is a gutter, your banks, your
The
sides will be
banks
a
are
gutter.
correct.
So
Mm.
same with the groundwater.
Mm.
And once you've crossed that limit, which I don't know when it will happen, but it
Mm.
is going to happen because nobody bothered about it.
How hopeful are you about this?
Uh, will we live in hope? Let's see. More than, we can always not do anything about it and expect somebody else to do it, which is not going to solve anything. And what we are saying is not wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't see any reason why anybody will disagree with it.
Okay.
How they implement it, how they solve it, it's a matter of, once if you put your eyes to it,
Mm.
if you put your thought to it, some change will be there.
Right.
And sorry, coming back again to like Mithi, I've always requested the authorities. I said, we want to save the Mithi River. Please
Mm.
remove it from the stormwater drain department. Send it to some other department to look after. Because you put it with the wrong department, so
Mm.
they are never going to make it a river. If you can change this thought process, what difference? The staff is the same. So if you change this little bit of thought process, automatically the problem will get solved.
Mm.
You don't
Right.
have to do some major this thing. Let's take an issue of, say, tree cutting.
Mm.
Mumbai trees have been cut over the years, decades, everything. But say in the last, say, 10 years, since we've really had this huge issues of tree cutting of metro,
Mm.
etc. Today, any trees cut anywhere, you will get a complaint.
Right.
People speak up.
People.
People find, so normal person walking at stuck at Ghatkopar station or trees being cut, he will take a photo and complain.
Correct. Right.
So there is awareness that is built up that tree cutting is wrong.
Is wrong. Right.
So
So I
it's,
think something similar needs to happen for this also.
and I'm very, like, everybody knows a tree needs to be protected. Everybody knows water needs to be protected. There is no,
Mm.
these are things we are
Yeah.
all
There are
we
not
are all,
like any arguments about it.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is my hope.
Right, right. I think this analogy is important here because I think you're right. Like many years ago, when trees were cut, we weren't always responding as people to it. But nowadays, anywhere, even if they're pruning heavily, also we get complaints, and people say that this is not pruning, this is cutting, and people kind of come out and talk about it. So yeah, I hope that we kind of talk more about rainwater harvesting, talk in public spaces, we talk about groundwater recharge, and that whether concrete is really a solution for anything. I think even we've had this discussion, slightly unrelated to water, but I was talking to another environmentalist, and we're talking about how maidans are becoming theme parks, right? Where everything is like manicured and garden, and if you see like all the tracks for walking are concrete or paver blocked, and And earlier it just used to be mud, and that's
Lot of the playgrounds in Mumbai have become turfs with the
tough.
cement
Exactly,
below and
tough,
artificial up.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a big problem.
It is, yeah. I
Yeah.
think to have more surface area for water to go in, I think is the crux of the matter here. We really need to be more alert to what is happening to our city, and to kind of respond to everything in a way that gets noticed, I think. I
But
mean,
our city is a mess. There's what all will you fight about? What all will you speak about? I mean, it's better to keep quiet and get on with your life. So that's the issue with every Mumbai.
right. No, but Zoru, really, thank you very much for one filing the PIL, so that this issue, I think, probably will lead to some kind of systemic change. Thank you very much for your time,
Thank
and
you
I
for
hope
raising
and I hope like something improves here, because we do need water to drink, and we do need less floods. So I think they're so directly connected in your PIL also, that I think I hope something gets moves forward.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Prati.
you.